NFL Live. Training camp's underway, and by the end of the week, every NFL team will be back in the practice field. We'll cover it all, and we are excited to have former Vikings wideout Adam Thielen with us today and tomorrow. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. You think that made you excited? It made me thankful to be right here. When I saw heat on there, I was like, actually, you know what? This feels pretty good. Air conditioning.
You have to have heat.
Or don't need it, I promise.
Yes, and according to Jason McCourty, who's with us as well, Mina Kimes is here, Jeff Darlington. So much to get into, you guys. Let's dive right in, and we're going to start in New England, where the Patriots practice for the third straight day. All eyes on that connection between newly acquired veteran wide receiver A.J. Brown and quarterback Drake May. I know it's just training camp, but it looks pretty good already. All right, Brown addressed the media today. Here's what he said.
I'm still getting comfortable each and every day. I'm grateful. The offense is, I'm pretty in a good spot. You know, I want to say I'm like 90%. You know, and it's just really just about going to execute and get on the same page with Drake each and every day. But I'm really comfortable.
All right, so as we know, Brown brings a certain level of skill the Patriots haven't seen in quite some time. New England hasn't had a player average 60 receiving yards per game in a season since 2019. That's the longest drought in the league. Meanwhile, A.J. Brown has averaged at least 60 yards per game in every season of his career. Even when everybody last year was like, oh, this guy isn't good anymore, this offense stinks, A.J. Brown has still been really good. Now, Adam, how does having Brown on the field change opportunities for everyone else in that wide receiver room?
Yeah, it's interesting. Everyone kind of wants to talk about A.J. Brown and what it does for him, but it's not about him. It's what it does for the other guys. When he's on the field, there's attention.
Yeah.
And there's attention on him, and these defense coordinators are scheming for him. And so now it opens it up. It opens up for Drake May. He can see other guys. He can see the whole field. If he needs to, it's a one-on-one situation. It's third down. He's going to A.J. It might be double cover. He's going to go to him. But it opens up the field to kind of spread the ball around and relax a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Adam. A.J. Brown, we know, is a nightmare against man coverage, so it's likely that the Patriots face more too high, which creates opportunities not just for the other receivers. You think about Romeo Doubs, how good he is at working against zone, some of the underneath options like Pop Douglas, but also the run game. Despite the fact that the Patriots had incredibly explosive passing attack last year, they faced very few light boxes. To me, the mere presence of A.J. Brown should create opportunities underneath for Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, and they can have a more balanced offense as a result. This is what happens, right? When you have a true #1 wide receiver, someone who defenses are afraid to play man against, changes the way defenses cover everyone, and it opens up opportunities for others, as Adam put so eloquently there.
I mean, you're spot on. Like, as I look at this, you think about, for the wide receivers, how she mentioned that run game, because I know as a DB, we played against you, and every third down, we were double teaming you, and that opens up different things for everyone else. So she mentioned Travion Henderson. To me, he was the guy in that backfield. Ramondre was the ground and pound guy, but Stevenson had some of those explosive plays. But on a play-in, play-out standpoint, as far as finding the hole and being able to get was there was a lot left to be desired. So I think with those two guys in the backfield, along with their tight end, Hunter Henry, I think there's so much opportunity for those guys to be able to help this offense and find ways to do that. When you talk about the run game, they also signed Reggie Gilliam to be a fullback. He's a difference maker for them, and what Josh McDaniels can do and how he aligns the guys on offense and where he puts them. I think he'll be a little bit of an X factor for how that offense operates.
Great point. By the way, it's a sign of respect, obviously, when you're getting double teamed. Everybody did it to you, but you remember specifically these guys double teaming you?
I do. I think we're going to get into that later on.
Good tease, exactly.
I tried to forget about it, but you guys
We're going to remind
me.
you. Yeah, there's going to be some great video footage later on in the show. Tune in for that. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Well, the Patriots are trying to lock up one of their young cornerstones of their defense. Jeff, how close are the Pats to getting a deal done there with Christian Gonzalez?
Well, you would think so, based on listening to Robert Kraft talking about how they've got an offer on the table to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, the richest contract in Patriots history. So the question, of course, is, well, why hasn't he signed it? And it's actually interesting to me that Kraft was even willing to go that far publicly and talk about that. But don't forget, Gonzalez is still under contract for a few more years with that fifth-year tender. So I don't necessarily feel the same urgency. It doesn't look like Gonzalez is going to have any type of holdout. It looks like he is very convinced that he's going to go ahead and pursue playing this season. So while it feels like he could take this deal at any point, it also doesn't feel like there's quite that much urgency on it right now.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers would basically prove why he should make the amount of money that Robert Kraft is talking about. How important is he to this Pats defense?
He's the most important player on their defense, bar none. And you think about what they were able to do in the playoffs last year. Their defensive coordinator, Zach Core, took over the play calling last year where Terrell Williams was going through his sickness. And in the playoffs, they dialed up and they got after offenses, sending pressure and blitzing. And when you're doing things of that nature, you're doing it because you trust the guys in the back end. A guy like Christian Gonzalez, who's following around Jackson Smith and Jigba in the Super Bowl, you're trusting he's going to be able to handle that. So for them to operate the way they want to on the defensive side of the ball, you need guys that can cover, starting with the best one on the field and Gonzalez, and then Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones. Everybody slots in to where they're supposed to be.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of two Patriots guys that Patriot fans will know very well. Stephon Gilmore and Darrell Revis. Two guys I win against. And the reason why those guys were so good and so hard to go against is because they were patient and they were confident. Like when you lined up against them, there was no stress. you know, a lot of times you line up against a guy and you can feel their stretch, like, okay, this is going to be a good day today.
Yeah.
Those guys, like, you're like, uh-oh, like, this is going to be a long day. Like, you go inside, they know that you're probably going to run 2 or 3 different routes. You go outside, they know you're probably going to run a comeback or a go ball. Like, there's only so much you can do, and they're confident and they're patient. And he's one of those guys that just takes away one side of the field and makes a really tough day on the offense coordinator, but more importantly, the receiver.
Yeah, Mina, there's a reason they called him Revis Island, obviously.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, that's high compliments, obviously, to the best to ever do it. I just think it's so important for the Patriots defense as a whole because he helps compensate for some of their weaknesses. The Patriots defense's strengths are the defensive tackles, Barmore and Williams, and then the corners. Those are 2 areas where they're elite. The pass rush outside of those 2 is a little bit sus in terms of the edges. So J-Mac talked about how they dialed up the blitz so much more in the postseason and had a lot of success doing so. To me, that's a formula they need to continue into the regular season next year, but that formula is predicated on having corners you trust to cover on an island. And so without Christian Gonzalez, it just doesn't work. So he's so important to that defense, which is why I suspect they're going to get something done.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. As soon as it happens, we'll bring you all the information here on ESPN. Let's turn our attention now to the Bucs. Really interesting team to dial in on here as they enter training camp. Now, disastrous collapse at the end of last season, right? Losing 7 of 9 and missing the playoffs for the first time since 2019. That snapped the longest playoff streak in franchise history. Mike Evans left for the 49ers this offseason after failing to reach 1,000 yards in a season for the first time ever. Health played a big reason in all of that. Evans holds franchise records in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. He's been so crucial for what they've done. And Tampa had just 37 sacks last season, despite blitzing at the 3rd highest rate. They drafted edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr., 15th overall in the draft. 4 of their first 5 picks were on defense. They made that a huge emphasis in the draft. And now all eyes turn to Baker Mayfield, who wants a new contract. He's entering the last year of his deal. There does not appear to be any progress with the negotiations. We're keeping an eye on that. And let's start there, Jeff. Where do things stand right now between Baker Mayfield and the Bucs and a new contract? Feels like every time we talk about this, we're like, well, this just needs to get done, and there are all the reasons why, and you can put his numbers up against other guys that are making more money and yada yada.